Today I want to have a serious discussion with all you about cheese paste. Cheese paste is something I'm making since I small. And a good cheese paste is something that has really come in handy when you're in a pinch and you want something quick to eat. You have some cheese paste in the fridge, you just put it on some bread or some biscuit and you're good to go. You don't need nothing more than that. For me, to make a real good cheese paste, all I need is 4 ingredients. And that is cheese, mayo, mustard, and pepper sauce. Now a word on mustard. If you're not using mustard in your cheese paste, I don't want it. Sorry, my cheese paste must have mustard. Now, people add different ingredients to their cheese paste for different reasons. A lot of people add milk and butter to make it a little more spreadable. And for me, that's unnecessary. If you want a real spreadable and smooth cheese paste, then it have different techniques you could use to achieve that. One of the easiest things to do is to use a food processor instead of grating it. And you'll get a real nice, smooth, buttery cheese paste without adding butter. And I mean, look at the price of butter in the grocery these days. If you could save on using butter, why not? I mean, all you're doing is adding extra fat. So I'll show you how to achieve a real nice, buttery, smooth cheese paste without adding extra ingredients. When it comes down to making a cheese paste, it's really about, the ratios and your preference. The regular or more common way is using a grater like this, a box grater. You grate your cheese, as I'm doing now. And then for me, it's adding those 4 basic ingredients, which is the mayo, the mustard, and the pepper. Other people like to use onions and pimentos and that kind of thing, and that's fine. I wouldn't add pimento if I'm using pepper sauce because the flavor of the pepper sauce will override the flavor of the pimento. So if you're not using pepper sauce, then by all means, I think you could go ahead and use your pimento, and that will give you a real nice flavor, that seasoning pepper flavor in your cheese paste. But if you're using pepper sauce, that more than likely contains like your Scotch bonnet or your scorpion pepper, that will easily override the flavor profile of pimento. So adding pimento and hot pepper, really redundant. I don't think you will be able to taste the pimento when you use pepper sauce. Well, it depends on how much pepper sauce you use as well, because for me, I really like a spicy cheese paste. My cheese paste must be spicy, so I just add a good bit of pepper sauce. But if you're going for a mild pepper, then I guess the pimento will work as well. So I say we have about 2 cups of shredded cheese here, grated cheese. And to that, let's add in the mayo, the mustard, and some pepper sauce. And you just mix that around. And for me, most times I'm making cheese paste is because I'm in a rush. I just want something quick that I could whip up and have as a snack, or something to just hold me while I'm doing work and that kind of thing during the day. So this is good enough for me. It's a little chunky, as you can see. I could just spread this on some biscuit or some bread and I'm good to go. So it's real common for me to do something like this. Just pile cheese paste on a slice of bread. This could be a quick lunch for me. Getting a nice tanginess from the mustard, the smooth creaminess from the mayonnaise, and of course, nice little sting from the pepper. You can't go wrong with this. This is a real good basic cheese paste. Well, we take it to the next level now. So the other ingredients that people like to add to cheese paste, at least fresh ingredients, are pimentos, as I mentioned before. And as I said, you can add pimentos if you're not adding much pepper sauce, and that way you'll get the nice pimento flavor in your cheese paste. And then people like to use onion as well. And I don't mind it. Onion does be real nice inside there. The only thing is, people tend to try to use the grater to grate the onion and the pimentos. And I find you just end up wasting at least part of the onion and part of the pimento as you get lower down in the grating process with your onion and your pimentos and thing. And I mean, I don't like to waste things. So for me, a better way of adding this to a cheese paste and to also achieve a nice smoother cheese paste is to use a food processor. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to use a food processor and blend it up, and I'm going to show you the difference in consistency that you get when you use a food processor. And it's much easier. I mean, the only thing is you have a little more ways to wash, but say what? You can't play mass and fray powder. Add in some cheese to the food processor, and you want to cut them into some small blocks like this. You don't want to leave like big chunks of cheese to give the food processor too much work. So this is about 2 cups of cubed cheese. And I mean, by now you should know that the cheese we're using is regular rat cheese, or more commonly known as the New Zealand cheddar cheese, loose cheese, you know. Add in 3 pimentos. Again, you want to chop them up roughly. This is not to give the processor too much work. I have half an onion that I add in, not a whole one. And for the first time in the history of this show on this channel, I'm actually using 1 clove of garlic. I don't want the garlic to overpower the cheese paste, so 1 clove would be good. I want to add the mayo, add in the mustard, and a little bit of pepper sauce. I'll put this on and let the processor do all the work. Of course, you want to scrape down the sides. Make sure everything gets incorporated. Boom. And there we have it. So as you can see here, we have a nice, smooth, creamy cheese paste without adding any extra milk or butter. And I mean, again, look at the texture and consistency of this cheese paste. You know this is gonna spread like butter. And there's a level of cheese paste that, you know, real good for a cheese puff. Yeah, there's that kind of cheese paste. Of course, it ain't too good for bread. So we're gonna put it in bread or put it on biscuit. You don't know. So in as much as we're going over the top and making a real nice cheese paste here, I want to add a few other ingredients that for me would take this up to the next level. So bear with me here. And I do regularly make cheese paste like this, but again, as we're going over the top, let me go all the way, right? Go hard or go home. So I add in a little paprika, a little dried basil, and the last ingredient, my secret ingredient to take my cheese paste over the top, is a little bit of curry. I know all the naysayers gonna be jumping up in the comments and saying, what kind of thing is that? And all kind of thing. Trust me, curry in cheese paste is the truth and delight. You're not using plenty curry, you know. Just like a 1/4 teaspoon. That's all you need. Just a 1/4 teaspoon up inside there. Mixing the scene. The only thing left to do now is to add it to a biscuit or a little bread. All right, so I'm gonna try our first cheese paste, which is the chunky one. And yes, I know I have the biscuit upside down. No free advertising here. So, there we go in. Yeah. All right, so there's the second one now, the elevated cheese paste, I'm calling it. You see how smooth that's going on. Not chunky like the next one. Smooth. Look how that's spreading. See how that's spreading? Smooth and no extra butter, no milk, and more importantly, no sugar. Like, Jed, what is all you doing? Why all you adding sugar to cheese paste? All you worried about MSG and using sugar in places where sugar have no place. Sugar have no place in cheese paste. Stop it. Stop doing that. All right, rant over. I'm gonna go in here. All right, so that is it. Cheese paste 2 ways. Quick and easy, chunky, with just the mayo, mustard, pepper, and cheese, and the elevated cheese paste with all the accoutrements, as it were. And the results, boom, banging, best cheese paste. Feel free to add carrots if you want. Carrots is always a nice little elevation to a cheese paste scene. And the secret ingredient, my secret ingredient, a little bit of curry powder in your cheese paste. Do it now, thank me later. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and give it a share. And if you do try it, whether it's the quick and easy one or the elevated one with especially the curry, let me know how it turns out and let me know if you like it. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, please take a moment to do so. As always, a link to the full recipe will be posted to the website. And yeah, thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I'll see you in the next one. Bless.